Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein and I will be your presenter for the next 20-ish minutes. Today we are going to be talking about report selections. So some different options that you have when running reports through the donations module of Church Windows. Lots of options available. I'm going to go through and kind of talk about each one, show you how it works. Kellyanne is listening in today as well. She's here to help me get questions answered. So if you come up with a question during my presentation, feel free to expand the question section on the GoToWebinar toolbar. Ask your question there. Kellyanne will do her best to get you a response. There's a bunch of us today. I think like 85 people registered. So if she doesn't get to you right away, just be patient. We'll do our best to get your questions answered. You can also wait till the end too. I might end up covering what you're asking anyways, but it's up to you. Now we are recording this webinar, so Robert's going to record it for us. He'll get it cleaned up and put it out on the website usually by end of week. So if you want to watch it again, share it with someone, you can check it out at churchwindows.com. Also, the outline that I'm following today is from one of our workbooks. It's from the Donations 105 workbook. So today we're talking pages 2 through 9. And then tomorrow's webinar, if you sign up for that one too, we're going to talk, I think it's like 9 through 18 maybe. Actually, I have it right here. It's 9 through 15. So it's kind of a two-parter here today. But today we're just talking about pages 2 through 9 in the Donations 105 workbook. If you'd like to purchase the workbook, you definitely can do that at churchwindows.com. It's $12 if you want to download it, print it yourself. It's $22 if you want to order a binder ready, printed out packet that we would actually email to you. All right, I think that covers everything there. So if you notice on your screen, we have the opening page of Church Windows. The version up here in the top right is version 21.18.1. That is our most current version. So if you're seeing something that is different than that, you can definitely head out to the website and download the version that way. Or you can always call us on our support line or shoot us an email and we can help get you updated that way as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up donations here. Now for what's in the book that I'm following, it's actually focusing on the log report. So that's the report we're going to use today as an example to really go through and show you the different fields. All of our reports in Church Windows are going to have a bunch of flexibility. Specifically the ones in donations have a bunch of flexibility, but we just picked the log report as kind of the best report to show you all the different features that you have for reporting options. So to get to that, we're going to go up under Reports and Export. I'm going to click on Donations Reports, and the first one that's going to pop up is the log report. So what I want to do is kind of go through and explain to you the different filters that we have here on this filter tab, and then we're going to jump through to the Group and Sort tab, columns, fonts, reporting options, just so you can see how each of these tabs can help you really customize your report and get the information out that you need. Okay, so starting on page 2 in Donations 105, first thing we're going to talk about here is this giver box. Okay, so anytime you come in to run this log report or other reports in donations, you have the option to focus in on just one person if you see this giver search box. So you can definitely leave this blank. If you leave the giver box blank, I'm going to go ahead and hit print just so you can get an idea of what the report will look like. It's only going to show you giving within the date occurred. Okay, so it's just going to show us giving. Where's my preview? Let me get it to pull up here. Give me 1 second. Let's try this again here. There's our preview. Okay, so if you don't pick a giver, it's going to show you everybody. Okay, so this is what the default log report would look like. Now, if we went in and just wanted to see the giving for just one person, which is something you definitely might need to do. Let's look at Nina. She seems to be my go-to person that I use for webinars. If I just pick her name and then I hit print, if she had some giving here, let's pick someone else. Here we go. So if we just pick one person, for example, we just picked Jack, we can see just the giving for Jack within the date range. Okay. So that's how that giver box works. Pretty straightforward. You pick one person, it's going to show just that person's giving within the date occurred over here on the right. Okay. Now, say I want to see pledging information on Jack. Let's see if he has any pledging. If I hit the down arrow under this pledging box, it's going to show me that he's actually pledged to 3 different things. In 2016, he pledged to save the animals. 2012, he pledged to general fund. 2011, he pledged to the kitchen reno giving account. Now, if I want to see just the pledges for, say, or just the giving towards this kitchen renovation fund, I would choose that pledge and then I would adjust my date range accordingly over here to the right. So I would change these to, say, 2011. Let's see if he actually gave to his pledge in 2011, which he did. He gave one gift of $500. Okay. Now keep in mind, you have to have a giver in the giver box for the pledge box to work. Okay, so this pledge is calculated, or the pledges are figured out based on who the giver is that you selected at the top. So if we pick someone different, we would see that person's pledging information here. Okay, so if there's nobody in our giver box, then we're not going to be able to select a pledge. All right, pretty straightforward. The account box, this is where you would select if you wanted to build a report based on one giving account, okay? It's either one or it's all of them for the log report. Say I just want to see the giving that came into general fund so far this year. I'll leave it for 2018 as my date occurred. I hit print, and here comes my report of just the giving that came into general fund. If you notice my account column here, it's all general fund donations. All right, checker reference number, that is just that. If you know the check number or reference number of something, of a check, and you need to figure out who it belongs to, say for example, let me clear out my account box. I'll put in the check number I want to look up. I'll hit print, and then the report will build and it'll find that check number. Okay, now keep in mind you could have more than one person that ends up having the same check number. That's definitely possible, but it's a way to pull a report on a specific checker reference number. If you don't enter in checker reference number on the enter donation screen, that field is not going to work for you because it doesn't have any data to query on. All right, you have a user box here. This can be helpful, say if you have a new person, a volunteer, or someone who's going to come in and enter the donations for you. If you create them their own password and username to get into the program, you could type that in here, and then you could pull a report and see all of the giving that they entered. Say it's their first time entering a batch and you just kind of want to go through and double check it, make sure it looks okay. In this user box, you would put whatever their full name is when you set up their login and security, and you would hit print, and you would be able to get a report of all of the transaction that user did. Right? Batch codes. If you use batch codes, this is a great way to pull or run a report on giving to a specific batch code. So let's say I wanted to run a report of all of my online donations, and when I put in those online donations, I put them all in the batch with a batch code of EFT. I could easily select that, hit print, and that would build me a report of just the giving to that batch code. Again, if you don't use batch codes, which you don't have to, they're optional, selecting something here isn't going to work for you, or you might not even have any options. Okay? Over here on the right, giver number range. Say you're wanting to just see the giving for givers with numbers 1 through 10, for example. We'll put that range in that we want. We hit print, And here's a report. It's just 2 pages, but it just shows me people who have giver numbers of 1 through 10. This might be helpful if you have, like your pledgers have numbers in a certain range, or you have children's envelopes, 100 to 150 or something. You could easily put in a range there and be able to pull a report of just those givers. Okay, date occurred, you have to have something in here when you run this report. This is just going to look at the donation date. So when you enter a batch, what donation date did you use? That is what this is going to focus on. One of the great things about donations is this can go over multi-years. So we could take this back to 2005 if we wanted to. Or we could do it for a month at a time. We could do it for a quarter at a time. Or we could do it for a day at a time. Say we just did January 7th and we hit print. It would show me just the giving on the report that came in that day. Okay. Let me switch this back here. All right, date posted. Date posted is the actual date that you are sitting at the computer and you entered the donations. Okay, so say you know you were working on and you posted donations yesterday. It was the 16th of October, but you cannot remember what date occurred or donation date you used when you put it in. You could clear out the date occurred boxes and you could focus in on your date posted of January, or I'm sorry, of October 16th, because you know that's the date that you were working. So yeah, remember the difference between date posted, date occurred. Date posted is the day you were actually sitting there and hit the post button to create those donations. Transaction number, this allows you to come in and look for a particular range of transaction numbers. You put in the range there and hit print, and then it's going to build a report of just those transaction numbers. Here's the transaction number column here. All right, same thing with amount. If you want to see gifts that fall in a certain range, you can do, we'll say 500 to 1,000. We'll leave the date range for the whole year, but of course you would adjust it if you needed it adjusted. Hit print, and then it's just going to show me the transactions that fall between $500 and $1,000. Okay. So that covered what I want to cover on the filter tab. Let me take a peek at questions and see if there's anything in here. All right, doesn't look like we have any questions I need to answer. Let me clear out these amounts. And let's go up to the Group and Sort tab. The Group and Sort tab is a really, really powerful tab that I think a lot of people aren't totally sure how it works. But what I'd like to do is kind of click some different options and show you how you can manipulate this. So right now, under Sort Field 1, if we leave Giver, I'm going to leave Group by Field Check. I want to hit Print again just so you can see what it looks like. So when Group by Field is checked, you will get the giver. So whatever was in Sort Field 1, it'll be grouped, and then it's going to give you the total given here. Okay. If I uncheck Group by Field 1, which happens to be giver, and I hit Print, it's then going to change. It's not going to give me a grouping or a total for my giver. It would list everyone out individually. Okay. Now, if I come back in here and I check Group by Field 1, it then allows me to check totals only. If I do that, it's going to give me just the totals per giver. Okay, so just a couple clicks can really, really change the outlook of this report. Now, if I come back here and I change this by account, this seems to be the other thing that people really look for when they call us. If I use account, I leave Group by Field checked, and I hit Print, it's then going to group everything by account. Okay, so it's going to give me for the year, because that was my date range, it's going to give me my general fund and the total money that came to that general fund, and then it's going to list all of the people that gave to it and their transactions below. Okay, if I scroll down, I'll see another account and the total. All right, now let's say I don't need to see each donation, each transaction listed below. That's fine. You can definitely come in here, check totals only, and it's going to do just that and give me the totals per giving account. All right. Again, if I uncheck totals only and I uncheck group by field 1, and I just sort on account, which you can definitely do, and I hit print, it's then going to reiterate each gift to general fund. Okay. Lots of customizing options here. You can really get in here and play around and find the report that you need. Coming in here and changing things around, you won't break anything. You can always come down here and hit this reset sort button, and it's going to take you back to our default. Now keep in mind you also have 3 different sort fields. So you could sort on account first, and then you could sort on donation date, and then you could sort by giver if you wanted to. Lots of different options. Next, I'm going to go to the columns tab. This is where you pick and choose what columns are going to print on your report. Okay, so if I hit print now, I'm going to have my giver listed here, my transaction number, my donation date, batch code, which I don't have anything in there, so I could remove that column, check number, account, and amount. Okay. Now let's go back to the columns tab. Let's say I need to get rid of batch code because I don't use it. I can highlight it, hit the left facing arrow. That's going to remove that column from printing on the report. All right, let's say I want the donation date listed above the transaction number. I can simply hit the up arrow off here to the right, and I can reorder my columns. So now if I hit print, I will see donation date first, then transaction number, no more batch code, check number, account, and amount. Okay, so columns is where you pick what information will be displayed and the order the columns will be displayed in. Now let's say I want to add payment method. I would click to highlight it, hit the right facing arrow, and it pops over, and then I can place it wherever I want. Okay, there's my payment method right next to my check number. Okay. All right, so that's the columns tab. Let's jump to fonts. We're almost done here, guys. Fonts is pretty straightforward as well. Fonts, you adjust the font to whatever you want. So you have the option for the page header, the column header, and then the actual body or the text of the report. Say I want my page header to pop a little bit. I could come in here, take it up to a size 14. I could change the color, font if I wanted, make it bold, italicize it, whatever. Hit print. And now you can see, simple as that, I've made my header, or my heading, I should say, in a larger font. Okay. Last tab is the Report Options tab. This allows you to specify if you want the categories listed on the report. So whatever categories you've set up over in membership, so you just have M for members, V for visitors. If you want to see that on the report itself, you would check this box. Also, if you want to see those donations givers, check that box, and then the D indicator would appear. So if I hit print here, you can see. So Carolyn has a D, Jeffrey has a D, Lucy's a member, so she doesn't have anything. Let's see if I can see a visitor here. Looks like, oh, here we go. Maria, she's a visitor, so she would have a V. All right. So that is all we are covering for today. The other fields, so some of the information down here, payment methods, things like that, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But let me see if there's any questions here that I can help get answered. Oh, thanks, Kellyanne. She's been answering a bunch of them here. Let's see. And if you do have questions, now's the time. Feel free to type those in, please. Looks like Kellyanne's did a great job answering these questions here. They seem pretty specific to people's data. That's the only reason why I'm not reading them out loud. Someone's asking, can an account be added to the columns in the donations log report? all of the columns that are available are going to be here on the columns tab, Gloria. So accounts already over here, that's already included. If you want it in a different place, you can definitely use the up arrow to move it over. Someone's asking, can you include address? The log report does not have the option for address. This is really a transaction report. We do have plenty of reports in donations that you can get the address on. John, a good report for you to check out would be the pledge giving analysis. Other than the log report, I would say that's our next popular report. All right, any other questions? Feel free to type those in. You're welcome, Chris. Thanks for attending. John, the pledge giving analysis report is still a great report even if you're not a pledging church. It still has a lot of really good options for churches who just do giving. So I'd recommend checking it out. You're welcome, Gloria. You're welcome. Thanks for attending, guys. I hope you learned something helpful today. If you got the information you were looking for, feel free to sign out, close out the webinar. That's totally fine. I'll hang here for another minute to see if there's any questions. If not, I will close shop here. All right, looks like people are leaving and saying thank you, so I will go ahead and close up the webinar. Don't forget, tomorrow we are doing the second half of this. So if you haven't registered for that, please head out to our website, sign up for that, and we'll go over some more information on that log report. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for attending.